guys, welcome back to Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the third wheel, part 2. So, first, before we start off with the summary and reading the story and all that, first, I want to let you know, all you have to do, it's really simple. You see the subscribe button below? Yeah, that one. Just click it, and the button next to it, the bell one, click that too. And share it and just like it. Please, just destroy the like and subscribe button. Anyways, so for a little summary. So Uncle Gary found this job where he where some guy sold souvenir t-shirts at Boston. And so he took all of his t-shirts to make a business. So, we're continuing now. So, after he got the money from Dad, Uncle Gary brought up the guy's t-shirts. But what Uncle Gary didn't know was that the t-shirts had a typo on them, and by the time he noticed, as the problem, the guy was already gone. Botson. Okay. That guy is not a genius, but yeah, way to cheat people off. Uncle Gary told Daddy needs a place to stay until he can get on his feet again. Dad didn't seem too happy about that. But by then, Mom was downstairs, and she told Uncle Gary he can stay as long as he needs. But when Mom saw the moving van in her driveway, she told Uncle Gary we didn't really have a room in our house for extra furniture. He said that she didn't have to worry because he didn't have any furniture. The moving van was filled with boxes of t-shirts, which we spent the rest of the morning loading into a garage. I don't think Uncle Gary is gonna give up on selling them either. He unloaded one on Roger for $3, and I think Roger feels like he got a steal. Monday. Living with Uncle Gary hasn't been easy. On his first few nights in the house, he slept on a near mattress in Manny's room. But Uncle Gary has these nightmares that wakes him up in the middle of the night. And last Monday he had a really, really bad one. There's monkeys in the wall! There's monkeys in the walls! So now Uncle Gary is sleeping on the couch in the family room. And Manny's bed is in the middle of his room, away from the walls. It's really inconvenient with Uncle Gary sleeping on our couch. His bad dreams keeping up all night, and then he sleeps through most of the day. That really stinks. So when you just want to relax after school and watch some TV, I'm home. The person who's affected the most by Uncle Gary is Roger, though. Before Uncle Gary moved in, Roger practically lived on the couch in the family room, especially on the weekends. Now Roger doesn't have anywhere to go when Dad kicks him out of bed in the basement on Saturday mornings. The other day, Roger came upstairs, and when he saw Uncle Gary in his spot, he just slept on another part of the couch. Dad has really been nagging Uncle Gary for finding a job, but Uncle Gary says he's tried and no one is hiring. Uncle Gary has never held down a job for more than a few days. The last one he had was over the summer, when he worked as a test subject for a company that made pepper spray. I'm pretty sure he quit before lunch. Gah! Psst. I think we need to add more pepper. That wants Uncle Gary to get a job like he has. We work in an office and have regular hours. But I don't think Uncle Gary is a cutout for an office job, and I'm not sure I am either. Dad has to dress up for work every day in a shirt and tie, and he has to wear dress shoes and dress socks too. I've always decided that when I grow up, I'm gonna have to find a job where you don't need to wear those socks that go up to your knees. Has anyone seen my trousers? Last summer, Dad brought me to bring it all to work day at his office. But the people at Dad's work must have realized their jobs would be boring to kids. So they brought in all sorts of entertainment. For most of the day, us kids stayed in the cafeteria while the grown-ups got some work done in their offices. Towards the end of the day, Dad brought me up into his office while I tried to finish up an important project. So I sat there next to him and waited. But I think it was hard for him to concentrate while someone was looking over his shoulder. Dad gave me money to buy something from the vending machine. He was probably just trying to get rid of me for a little while. But he wasn't too happy when I came back a minute later with a box of Jawbreakers. Crunch! Dad told me he really needed to finish what he was doing, so he asked me to find somewhere else to sit while he wrapped things up. He must have really been distracted that day, though. because he went home and left me behind. I might have been stuck there all night if the janitor hadn't found me. Anyway, Dad is pretty annoyed that Uncle Gary doesn't have enough money and has been mooking him off. Mom has actually started giving Uncle Gary an allowance, even though he doesn't have to do any chores for it, which feels wrong to me. I just hope Uncle Gary uses some of his allowance to pay for his own bubble bath. He used up all of mine on the second day he was here, and it's really not the same when the water is crystal clear. I really wish I didn't have to throw my jeans a few weeks ago, because today I need to look sharp. We're starting a ballroom dancing unit in physical education, and Mrs. Moretta said each of us need to find a partner. So it wasn't a good day to be wearing corduroy trousers that are 3 inches too short. Shwee, shwee, shwee. Miss Moretta said that we're gonna choose partners by writing down the name of the person we want to dance with on a little slip of paper. Then she'd go through the piece of paper and pair us up the best she could. That was the last attempt she used last year for the square dancing unit, though. I got totally burned. I wrote down the name of the prettiest girl in my class, Bailey Anthony. But she didn't write down my name. She wrote down Bryce Anderson, just like every other girl in the class. Bryce ended up picking Mackenzie Pollard, and Mrs. Moretta assigned Bailey to be my partner because I had picked her. At first I was really excited I got Bailey as a partner, but then I realized I had to deal with this kind of nonsense for 2 weeks. I didn't pick him. I guess Bailey didn't want to repeat of last year either, because today she went around to all the guys who didn't have a chance with her and let them know. Don't any of you nerds write my name down. To be honest with you, I don't really care who I got paired up with as long as it isn't Ruby Bird. As far as I know, Ruby is the only girl who's ever been suspended from her school, and that was for biting a teacher. In fact, the reason Ruby only has one front tooth is because the other one ended up in Mr. Underwood's elbow. Yag! Trump. I try to be pretty nice to Ruby whenever I come across her in the hallway because she terrifies me. Ladies first. But today I got worried that maybe I've been too nice, and she might think I actually like her. The last thing I need is for Ruby to write down my name on that little slip of paper, because I know if she's my dance partner, I'll do something to make her mad and end up with a other tooth in my arm. So I use my little slip of paper to try to make sure that doesn't happen. Please do not put me with Ruby Bird. Sincerely, Greg Heffley. I even chewed a half-eaten candy bar I was saving for later on to make sure Mrs. Moretta comes too for me. Wednesday. Last night I prayed extra hard that I wouldn't end up with Ruby as my dance partner. Then I started worrying that maybe you only got a certain number of praise dances in your lifetime, and I'm burning through mine too fast. I hate to find out later on that I used up all of my chits, because I've been acting like I've got an unlimited supply. I probably need to be more careful about that. This weekend, the toilet in the upstairs bathroom got clogged, and I prayed that the plumber wouldn't use our bathroom after he fixed it. For the record, I have about a 75% success rate with my prayers. I don't know if that's good or bad, but one thing I'm pretty sure is that I'm never going to get a lightsaber for my birthday, no matter how badly I want it. Shroom. Anyway, I think I've got to be a lot more specific when I pray for something. Because today in Fish Head, my wish was granted. But I wasn't happy about the way things turned out. At the beginning of class, Mrs. Moretta called out names for dancing partners. And I held my breath when she got to Ruby Bird. But Ruby got paired with Fregley. And if you ask me, that's a match made in heaven. Eventually, Mrs. Moretta read out the last girl's name. And there were still a bunch of boys left over, including me. There are a lot more boys in my class this year than girls, so it made sense that not everyone got a partner. But still, I was a little disappointed that no one wrote my name on one of those little slips of paper. Then us guys realized we weren't going to have to do the ballroom dancing unit and we could just play kickball on the other side of the gym for 3 weeks. Slap, slap. But we celebrated a little too soon. Mrs. Morera said everyone had to dance, and she started pairing us boys up with one another. So next thing I knew, I was dancing a waltz with Carlos Escalera. Today at school, Phys Ed was cancelled because we had a general assembly during 4th period, and I have to admit, I was a little disappointed when I found out, because believe it or not, me and Carlos have actually been getting the hang of the meringue. Most people were excited, though, because we haven't had a general assembly since November. That's when this hypnotist called the Amazing Andrew came to our school. In the grand finale of his show, the Amazing Andrew hypnotized a line of 8th graders into thinking their arms were super glued together. Then he told the guys he'd unglue them with a magic word, and when he said that, they came apart just like that. Cucumber. After school, some kids got into an argument over whether the hypnotist was for real, or if those 8th graders were in on the act and were just faking it. Two of the guys who thought the Amazing Andrew was fake linked their arms, and then Martin and Ford tried to hypnotize them into thinking they were super glued together. Believe it or not, it worked. The two kids couldn't separate their arms, and they totally panicked. Martin tried saying the magic word, but he couldn't unstick them. Cucumber! Cucumber! Snap, snap, snap. The kids went back to the school, and one of the teachers had to track down the Amazing Andrew at his job so he could say the magic word and separate them. I have no idea how the school chooses the people who come and do our assemblies. One person they brought in last year was a guy called Strong Steve. He gave a speech about how we need to stay off drugs, and then for his grand finale, he ripped the phone book in half with his bare hands. Rip! Don't ask me what ripping a phone book has to do with staying off drugs. But the kids at my school went crazy for this guy. In fact, the librarian had to replace half the reference books on our shelves after Strong Steve's visit. The person I'm really hoping they don't bring back is the singer named Christina. I think the school likes to bring in Christina for assemblies because her lyrics are really positive. Trust in your dreams and you will see just how happy your heart can be. Reach for the stars and never stop. You're a winner, you'll reach the top. Christina calls herself an international pop sensation. But I don't know how she gets away with that. As far as I can tell, she's never even been out of the state. Christina, World Tour, Shop Mart Superstore, Middletown Shopping Mall, Roll Around Skating Rink, Town Park Gazebo, Rickman Auto Center, the route to 1A Bowling Alley, Speedy Scrub Car Wash. One of my favorite assemblies was the one where a police officer came to our school and told us about being a narc. He said his job was to pose as a high school student and then report on the kids who are up to no good. I thought that sounded like an awesome job. If I can get paid to go to school without doing homework or taking tests and send all the jerks to jail, then that's the career for me. Mrs. Johnson, David Marks is shooting spitballs again. After the police officer came to our school, me and my friend Rally decided to start our own detective agency, Private Eyes, for hire. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of demand for private detectives in our neighborhood, and nobody wanted to hire us, but we decided to start spying on people anyway. It was actually a lot of fun. The great thing about being a private investigator is that you can poke around in other people's life and it's just part of your job. Shake, shake. We mostly focused our investigations on Mr. Millis, who lives a few doors up the street from me. It's not like he's doing anything suspicious. It's just that we know he has all the movie channels on cable. Our detective agency fell apart though, after we started investigating Scotty Douglas. I let him borrow a video game over the summer and he said he lost it. But I knew he was lying. So I sent Rolly down to Scotty's house to get him to cough it up. I taught Rally how to act really tough and crack his knuckles a lot so Scotty would get the message that we weren't fooling around. Crack! But when Rally didn't come back right away, I started to wonder what had happened. I went down to Scotty's house to investigate myself. And I caught Rally red-handed playing my video game with Scotty. Boom! Kapow! I had to fire Rally on the spot. And if I ever start another detective agency, the first thing I'm going to do is hire a more intimidating officer. Anyways, like I said, everyone was excited to find out who was the guest for today's assembly. But it turned out there wasn't a guest. After we sat down in the gym, Vice Principal Roy got up on the stage and he said the reason he gathered us all together was to announce that there was going to be a special election to replace the student council. We had student council elections in the autumn, but the class officers were skipping the meetings because they held during recess, and I guess the advisors got fed up. Vice Principal Roy said there are two conditions for running for office. One, you have to be willing to attend all the student council meetings, and two, you can't have 3 detentions or more. I felt like that second rule was directed at me, because I just picked up my 3rd detention. It's my first year of middle school. In my first year of middle school, an 8th grader told me there was a secret elevator that went to the 2nd floor and that he could sell me a special pass for $5. That sounded like a good deal to me, so I gave him $5 for the pass, which looks pretty official. Elevator pass. This pass entitles the holder to unlimited use to the middle school elevator. But it turned out the whole thing was a scam and there was no such thing as a secret elevator. Hi. Recycle white paper. I've been holding on to that elevator pass ever since, but a few weeks ago I sold it to a kid who's new to our school. Unfortunately, I wasn't careful enough, and I got busted by Vice Principal Roy, who made me return the money. He even gave me detention, which really stunk, because I'd given the kid a deal by selling him the pass at half price. After the assembly, I realized something. Raleigh has never had a detention, so he'd be a perfect candidate for student council. I told him he should run, but he said he wouldn't know what he'd do if he got elected. But that's where I come in. I told him if he gets elected, I'll make all the tough decisions and all he have to do is show up for the meetings and do what I tell him. I think it's a genius idea, because I'll get to be in power, but I don't have to miss any recess. I vote for double recess and half days on Fridays. So, anyways, guys, this will be the end of part 2 of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the 3rd wheel. I really hope you like it. Please subscribe it, share it, and like it. And until next time. Or should I don't know when I'm going to post the next video. A few hours later or tomorrow. I'm guessing tomorrow. Anyways, bye, guys.